I want to give a shout out to our audience in Juba, South Sudan, Kampala, Uganda, Accra, Ghana, my native homeland, and
wow.
Yeah. So introduce yourself to the people, sir.
Well, hey, I'm Will Gates, man. One of the co-stars of the documentary movie Hoop Dreams. Excited to be on the show today. Looking forward to the conversation, and I just want to, man, it's an honor. I mean, to be speaking to those, man, back in the homeland. That's an honor. So glad to be a part of the show today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now, Mr. Gates, growing up in Chicago, give the viewers a little glimpse as far as growing up as a young ball player in a basketball talented city like Chicago.
Well, I tell you, from a basketball perspective, I felt like I couldn't get better prepared to play basketball than the hard courts of Chicago street ball. I mean, that was the place where no blood, no foul. So it prepared you mentally. You had to get physically ready. And I think the biggest thing, man, that I got out of playing Chicago street basketball was that everybody was good. Like you didn't come on a court like kind of how like you see kids today. Like this was not participation trophy kind of stuff. You didn't step out there unless you had some type of game or you can contribute something to the game. So it was definitely different than it is of today.
Now, so as far as like the Chicago Public School League, so growing up in Detroit, the Detroit Public School League was kind of probably real similar as far as like there were no off nights. Every Tuesday and Friday night, whether it was a below average team overall, there was always some individual talent, a future D1 college prospect. How was it competing in the Chicago Public League, and who were some of your toughest matchups?
I'm gonna tell you, it was the same. And when I tell you the guys that I played against, and it's still unbelievable to this day. You know, Juwan Howard, Big Dog Glenn Robinson. I mean, I played against a lot of future Hall of Famers in a sense, or NBA pro guys, and even the guys that was a little bit before me, we got the opportunity to play against, like a Tim Hardaway. So, so it wasn't unusual to see that great talent in the public league. And really, that's what inspired guys to want to play. I mean, the first real, I would say, beside my brother Curtis, superhero that I saw playing public league basketball was Ben Wilson. He was the first guy that I was like, man, this dude is good. Like, he was the first guy from Chicago that went to like those camps, and when he came back, he was the number one player in the nation. Like, we didn't even know anything about recruiting and playing. We were just playing to play. Neighborhood bragging rights. We didn't know anything outside of the court. But when Ben came back, it was like, oh, now all of a sudden Hoop Dreams kicks in, and you can say to yourself, like, man, I can do a lot more with this game. But yeah, the grind from in the public league, and I would even say not even just the public league, but the western suburbs, like we had great talent. Like I played against Mike Finley. Mike Finley went to Proviso East, but he wasn't in the public league. He was out in Maywood, Illinois. I mean, that's where Glenn Doc Rivers come from. Even one of my personal idols, Isaiah Thomas, who we went to the same high school. St. Joe's. So, we were out in one of the west suburbs of Chicago. So the talent was just so spread, and it wasn't thin, it was thick. I would say, unlike somewhat of Detroit, I think Detroit had that still hardcore banging basketball too, because we used to come down there too, man. We used to get our butt kicked by Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and them guys, man. So I've known them guys for a long time, but it still had, Chicago had that flair where, and this is probably, Detroit as well. Since there was since the wind blew so much, we didn't shoot a lot of jump shots. You went to the bucket outside. So so we all learned how to dribble. We all learned how to be, athletic and crafty with the basketball when you're in the air. So I'm grateful for that wind blowing in Chicago, because small guys like myself, it allowed us to be tough, hard, and have the ability to get to the basket and finish.
Now, Mr. Gates. So the competition level, it helped up the play. Even when guys weren't playing for rankings, in that era. Now, tell us about how Hoop Dreams got put together. How they're able to see you guys literally grow on screen for us from the outside looking in. How did that come about?
It's interesting. It really kind of follows the pattern of the movie when you see Arthur playing against Isaiah at St. Joe's. I was actually at that camp. I just couldn't be on film because I hadn't committed to the film, or I hadn't heard about them. And what a lot of people don't know, they give them a little flack about it. But if it wasn't for my high school coach, Gene Pingator, I would have never even been a part of the project, because they came out, brought Arthur out there because they heard about the Isaiah Thomas story, how he went from street ball to organized basketball. And Coach Ping said, "Hey, you think that's something? I got a kid coming from Chicago, Cabrini Green. You might want to talk to him and his family." And so that's kind of how it all blew up. We started talking. The next thing I know, 2 days they came out to my house and we started filming right after that.
How did you feel like there were certain points in time when you wanted your privacy, like emotional points throughout the filming where you didn't want the camera crew around?
Oh, all the time. You always get to the point where, even like after games, man, if you lost a tough game, you frustrated, and you want that moment to yourself, or even times like people will see in the movie where all of a sudden I got a child, and they're like, "Where did that come from?" Well, that was because I didn't want to expose my girlfriend, who's my wife now, didn't want to expose her, to what was going on, because she had nothing to do with that. So why expose that aspect about her and, her family? So, but yeah, you're right. It was those moments when they were at times just too evasive. And then there were times when, you wanted them around. I wanted them because, it also made me feel like, man, I was important. I was special, that somebody wanted to invest in me and thought highly enough of me to say, man, this kid is worth participating with and seeing him develop in life.
Now, Hoop Dreams is a timeless classic. And, it's one of those movies or / documentaries where its reach is like global, where young ball players that I speak with all the way in Sudan, they know about Hoop Dreams, and they weren't even born when it came out. Why do you think Hoop Dreams has become such a timeless classic, especially to inner city youth?
I think Hoop Dreams has stood the test of time because it has always exceeded past basketball. Like it was about families and struggle and hardship and overcoming and beating the odds that exist within every family, perhaps on many different levels. But I think at some point, everybody could find a piece of themselves, either in my story or Arthur's story or our mothers, or dad's not being in the home, or dad struggling in the home. Mothers trying to, they becoming the head of household and trying to make it work. And, you got older siblings who, they probably didn't quite do it. And so now all of that is on you in a sense. So Hoop Dreams, the elements of it, it was so broad, but yet so rich that it allowed everybody. And I still think that's why, it's this way today. It allowed people, they can plug themselves in that. Even right now, I get emails and Facebook messages from kids saying, man, asking me questions. How did you deal with, the knee injury? I'm going through that right now. What's your process? How should I be thinking? And I'm kind of glad that they're calling me and asking, because I can help them process that. And, and a lot of them, I just tell them, depending on where you're at in life, you may have to adjust your game a little bit. But when I was coming up, we didn't know about adjusting our games. We just play hard, and you fought through it. And sometimes you fall through it the wrong way. So I'm glad that Hoop Dreams shows that element that it exceeded beyond the game of basketball.
Yes, sir. Now, Chicago, Detroit, any inner city, we have some of the great young talent that fell victim to the streets, whether they got killed or it was drugs or it was prison, or they had difficulty as far as academics.
Mhm.
How would you say, the importance of education plays a role in kind of bringing up some of these young guys that didn't necessarily accomplish their hoop dreams, so to speak?
Right.
What do you think that the importance of education is?
I think education it's not only important and critical, but it helps manifest dreams beyond basketball. And what I mean by that is you can take, I just use myself for example. Well, I didn't make it to the NBA, but in life I've succeeded. And I'm not going to say it's solely based on the education, but the education plays such a huge role simply because it put me indoors that if I had not gotten the education, that I probably wouldn't be prepared to speak on, to give input on. And I think what also education does is it allows you the freedom to voice your thoughts. Oftentimes, I feel like, especially young African-American men and girls and women, oftentimes we don't feel like we can voice our opinion because the things that we say oftentimes has come back as seen as, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Or even if we don't speak correct English, they'll look at you and go like, okay, I can't understand that. And like they know fully well they can understand exactly what we're saying, but they treat you like, I don't understand you. So I think having that piece also, it allows you to speak to the masses. It allows you to speak to the person next door, and it allows you to go in any boardroom, any setting, any place, and not only defend what you're saying, but make requests while you're in there. So, man, education is top priority, key. But what I also throw in there too, man, you got to mix education with action. It ain't good just to get it. You got to get it and then go do so. That's right. Go do something with it. Hit the pavement, run with it, and don't feel like, you got to know it all. Because I kind of fell into that trap too because of hoop dreams. I felt like, man, I need to know it all. I got to do it all. No, you still need help along the way, even up until the day you die. You're going to need somebody to come alongside you and work with you to continue to help you achieve your greatest accomplishments.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm doing a education event. Do you mind if I play that clip that you just shared, sir?
Not at all. Please do. Please do.
Thank you. Now, how is your relationship with with Arthur Agee? I see a couple of photos that you guys are taking together. Recently. How's your relationship over the years?
What is interesting? I always. Arthur and I, we kind of laugh about this because, I'm living in San Antonio and he's still in Chicago right now. But one of the things we laugh about is that, we don't talk as much as we used to, but when we do, we pick up right where we left off at. So how we've always described this relationship is Arthur spends the majority of his time trying to get my feet off the ground, and I spend the majority of my time trying to keep his feet on the ground. So we kind of balance each other out like that. So when we're together, it works so smooth because he gets me to do things that I probably would not normally do. And then I get him to do things that he shouldn't do. So we really, really balance each other out. And at the end of the day, man, that's my brother for life. I mean, we call it that, HD for life. we will be connected and joined to the hip, because there is no one without the other. No matter what I'm doing or what he's doing, if he's speaking somewhere, they're saying, hey, what is Will doing? If I'm speaking some way, hey, what is Arthur doing? What are y'all moms doing? So it almost forces us to stay connected, because we need to answer them questions when people call. But that's my G. That's my guy. That's my dog. That's AG. That's what I call him. I call him AG. But yeah, we man, we still tight, and he's family for life, and his family, they're my family, and my family is his family.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now with each guest, Mr. Gates, I always got to put each guest on the spot, just out of the blue. Now, if they were to do a movie on you and Arthur, which actors will play you and him?
Oh wow.
I had to do it.
I see. Let me go with Arthur first. I think the actor that could do Arthur is Marlon Wayans, because Arthur is very much his personality type. He's funny. He likes to keep it light, keep it going. And for me, wow, that's a tough one. The guy, what is his name? He's playing on the Tyler Perry show now. Oh gosh, he was in what is his name?
Like the newer actors.
No, he's not the newer actors. He was on the Cosby Show. He was
Darius McCrary.
Not Darius McCrary. He was on Family Matters. I'm thinking he was in that movie with Jada Pinkett. What is the name of that movie? I can't think of his name.
Old school movie.
It's an old.
Payne?
Yes.
Alan Payne for Jason's. He was in Jason's Lyric too, if I'm not.
That's
mistaken.
exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's more of my personality. Like we go hoop. We silent killers. We silent killers. Absolutely.
Lovely. Now, another thing I got from Hoop Dreams, and I always like to, share with our young people, is the importance of a support system, the importance of family. What can you share with us as far as the importance of family throughout your development from a young man in the Hoop Dreams era to William Gates Sr.?
Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, family is completely important. And there's plenty of reasons why. But let me start with this one first. As a teenager, and I hope your youth understand this point. As a teenager, you're not going to agree with adults. You're going to find something that adults say that you don't like, that you disagree with, that you get mad about, that you get upset with. And I need them to know that that's okay. It's okay that you disagree. What teenagers need to learn, and I had to learn this, is that because I feel that way, I can't make that everything. Like everything, if I got mad, then I was mad about everything. It wasn't just that one thing. If my brother said something to me I didn't like, well, guess what? I didn't like him the rest of the day. So, we got to learn how to channel that. And it's hard when you're a teenager because everything is about you. You're concerned about you and your friends and the elements, the peer pressure, girls or boys, whatever it is. You're stuck there. But then at the end of the day, you begin to realize when you're sitting down and you're eating with family and you're looking around and you're seeing your older brothers or your little brothers and sisters and everybody living life and your mom working hard and your dad doing what he needs to do, you begin to start saying to yourself like, wow, this I'm a part of this. I'm connected to this. What do I need to do to contribute to, help things a little bit better in the house? Do I need to, clean up more? Do I need to take the garbage out more? Do I need to, mow the lawn? I think about the sacrifice that my sister made when I went to St. Joe's. Her and her new husband allowed me to move into their home. And I think at the time my sister was only 23, and I was a, 14-year-old freshman, you know, basically being raised by, my older sister in her home and their new child and her new husband. And if it had not been for her, now we're talking about that 2-hour commute to St. Joe's could have been a 3.5-hour commit. But greater than that, she made me a part of her family, where I felt all the aspects of it, not just being a little brother, but many days feeling like a son to her. And I remember her husband. This was the first discipline I ever learned in their household. I remember I used to get home from school and practiced about 9 o'clock at night. And man, I'm dog tired, exhausted. But that garbage would be waiting for me at the door. he was like, hey man, your responsibilities don't stop here just because you fulfilled them out there. You got to coexist. And what he was teaching me was that I got to learn how to multitask life. You got to do what you need to do out there. But when you get here, there should not be no fall off or no neglect. And man, again, because I was a teenager, I was mad. I fought it. I kept saying, man, I'm out here trying to get to school. It's cold. You know how Midwest winters are, Chicago, winter, Detroit. I'm like, it's below zero. And I'm just getting in. I'm starving. I'm hungry. And you're talking about take the garbage out. But it instilled something in me that allowed me to appreciate that lesson, appreciate what my sister did, appreciate what my mom did, because I knew it was tough on my mom to send her 14-year-old son out there. And we don't recognize, again, as teenagers and kids, the sacrifices and the love that our parents put on us by the decisions that they make that's only for our best. But unfortunately, sometimes we miss on that being younger because we think what they have to do for us or how they handle things for us, if it's not what we want, oh man, we don't like nobody anymore. So if I want to, if I guess I'll just sum it up this way. The significance of family, the importance of family is so valuable. Even if you don't understand it all, follow through with your love on both ends, receiving and giving.
Mr. Gates, I'm almost, speechless, which is not good for a podcast, but you gave me, and the young people words of wisdom, and you're a very humble man, considering, your name and your stature, and that's not very common, as I've reached out to, to guests and, for the benefit of the young people, I really want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule, to come on my not so well-known podcast, youth podcast. Thank you so much for sharing these words of wisdom, Mr. Gates. Thank you.
Oh man, my pleasure, my pleasure. Now, and if you don't mind, I'd like to just do a little plug myself, if you don't mind.
Sir, yes, sir.
We're celebrating 25 years of Hoop Dreams, so that's a big honor for us, and of course, we're trying to do some big things with that. But I also started this clothing line, Hoop Dreams clothing line, and it can be reached on hd-22.com. That's hd-22.com. And so we're just trying to do that, move things forward, get things going. And of course, it's not only to help our families, but we also take proceeds from that also, man, just to help organizations as a whole as well too. So
now, how can we donate? Is it through through that website? They have like a donation section.
It's not necessarily a donation section. You can just go purchase it. It has like t-shirts, hats.
Oh, good.
Those kind of things. So it's really, because it is a for-profit business, but with that we take a portion of the sales to support organizations and stuff like that.
Okay, and as far as like the delivery of merchandise, do you deliver you deliver to like all 50 states? But if you don't deliver an event, you don't deliver uh, overseas, we could just buy bulk and then we could just ship it ourselves. So I guess we could just place orders in bulk then.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. Absolutely, yeah. But we do deliver in all 50 states. We have not set up. You're right. We have not set up for overseas delivery yet. But you're absolutely right. If you buy in bulk, and but if that's something you decide to do too, reach out to me, and
Okay.
and we'll definitely make that more feasible.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, sir.
absolutely.
Because I'm gonna be putting together some events as well attached to the company that I also work for. I work for Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. It's one of the larger nonprofits in Detroit, in Southeast Michigan,
Okay.
and I do just strictly like the youth events. So when we're reaching out to vendors, you will be like the first vendor that I'm gonna reach out to share some more of your brand. So I'm definitely coming to you first and foremost.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Absolutely, absolutely appreciate it. Definitely, definitely.
Thank you, Mr. Gates. And with your permission, I'd like to share our episode on Facebook and Instagram at Heavy Brand Podcast.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Gates.
Oh, yeah.
I hope to see you soon, whether it's virtual or out in the business realm. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Man, my pleasure. And man, be safe out there, during this COVID season still too, man. Be safe.
Thanks.
All right.
See you soon.
Have a great one.